Ladies and gentlemen, we're on day 98 of the Russian invasion and year 9 of Russia's Federation's war against Ukraine. My name is Andriy Shevchenko. On behalf of the Media Center Ukraine, I would like to welcome all of the journalists telling the world about our plight, about our struggle for freedom. With us today is a Kharkiv collective called Prime Orchestra. The reason they're with us is that in 2021, the city of Kharkiv was granted the UNESCO Creative City for Music status. The musicians of Prime Orchestra went on a tour in European cities, which also belong to the UNESCO Creative Cities Network. Uh, this time, or this year, while they were on tour, this was an opportunity for these musicians to tell Europe, to tell the world about what is happening in their city, in Kharkiv, what's going on in Ukraine. I would like to welcome to the microphone, give the floor to Yuriy Rybalka, director and co-producer of Prime Orchestra, modern crossover orchestra from Kharkiv. Yuri, if you could tell us about your tour. Thank you. Well, I wanted to say a few words about the orchestra itself first. That started in 2014 in Kharkiv. This was the first private orchestra in the city, and the main idea was to perform classical world classics, but not in the standard as in classical music, but classics, the classics of electronic music, rock music, pop music, and symphonic arrangements. The orchestra toured a lot. We've given about 500 dates in Ukraine and abroad. And we've had rich plans, we've had ambitious plans, but then the invasion started, and since the start of the invasion, the musicians have been forced. Some have left Ukraine, some have stayed, some have started volunteering. There was a lot of help that everybody did, but after the address by the president, when he called on everybody to help with whatever you are good at, whatever you can do, we decided that it is time to get together. It was time for us to get together, and then we came up with this event, this idea that this tour of the cities of Europe to tell, to talk about what's going on in Ukraine, what this war looks like, to encourage greater help. And this initiative was supported by the city administration and the regional administration, the Ministry for Culture, the UNESCO Commission, and after we agreed all of the details and we prepared the program, the orchestra managed to leave on April 28th. Yeah, and basically we just came back the day before yesterday. And what can I say? I can say this was an extremely important event, both for the orchestra itself, because everybody involved, everybody was involved in this event. We came up with this program, a quite powerful, strong program. It was very important that we showed the appearance of Kharkiv prior to the war, the beauty of the city, the creativity, the uh, vibe of the city, and what happened after the war began. There was the same kind of minute of silence for the dead, for the fallen, and we performed works deliberately put together by orchestra, deliberately arranged for orchestra, both of Ukrainian songs and world hits. I think perhaps our musical producer, Oleksiy Khorolskiy, can tell us more. Thank you. But right now with us is going to be Nina Kramareva, working at the Secretariat for the UNESCO National Committee on UNESCO. Could you explain the importance of this initiative? Hello, dear musicians and compatriots and friends of Ukraine. I am very happy to be at this event, marking the conclusion of the first part of the triumphant tour of the cities of Europe in this very dark time for our nation when we're fighting for our survival and the right to our identity. Music helps us support our morale. The performances of Prime Orchestra in Europe point again to the undefeated nature of our character. They show our culture and strengthen support for Ukraine from European countries. The music that was performed by Prime Orchestra is true soft power in action. As a secretariat of the National Commission in Matters of UNESCO, we will continue to support this initiative. I wanted to say that our cooperation with Kharkiv started last year when representatives of the city authorities turned to us for support to join the UNESCO Creative Cities Network. We saw the seriousness, the earnestness of their intentions when our colleagues shared their achievements and plans in music. Having secured our support, the city joined the Creative Cities Network. I wanted to say that this, uh, these attempts by the orchestra point to the character of Kharkiv and of our nation. Thank you. I would like to give the floor to Oleksiy Khorolskiy and Denis Doroshenko, and to join us here on the stage. And could you tell us a bit about the repertory? What did you take to Europe? What were you showing? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Oleksiy Khorolskiy. I'm a musical producer and guitarist of Prime Orchestra. I wanted to say first of all that it was a very successful initiative. It's been it's made quite an impression. It's very important both for us, for the country, and for the world. The reason I say this is that the repertoire we came up with kind of confirmed the that we were right, that we were right to make a repertoire that's integrated in world culture. It included rock music and rock arrangements for a symphony orchestra. This is music that is well known. It's protest music. It's loud music, and it is accessible to the world community. Something that we did that was important for us is we arranged Ukrainian music, pieces of Ukrainian music that was then shown to the international community. The important thing is that we could bridge the gap with this music. We could communicate with people who, after our performances, expressed their admiration for the strength of the Ukrainian people. And with this message, we performed an important service. We did an important mission. We drew attention to the Ukrainian problem, the Ukrainian war. That's the main important thing. Denis Doroshenko, Conductor. What was your idea? What was your idea of how it was perceived? What was your sense of how it was perceived? I just wanted to say very briefly, in every city and every country that we've been, we saw that the local residents know what Ukraine is. Now they do. They know that Ukrainians are powerful, beautiful, intelligent, modern people doing what the rest of the world is doing. We all love Ukraine. We all do what we can to ensure Ukraine's victory in this war. And we will continue doing what we've been doing for 3 years in Kharkiv. It's broad, broad event called we are the children, we are the world. We will continue doing this here in Lviv, and we really hope that next year it will be not only an all-Ukrainian national event, but even an international event. We are the children, we are the world. Thank you. And perhaps I would like to join. Perhaps I would ask Oleksiy to join us on the stage again. And could you tell us what are you hearing from Kharkiv? What are you hearing from friends or family, or perhaps I'll say, because after today's performance in Staysky Park, I want to make an announcement. It's going to be at 5. It's going to be dedicated to the day, the Children's Day, and also our gratitude to Lviv for hosting us and for the support for IDPs from various cities from Ukraine were affected by war. And tomorrow many of the orchestra are going home to Kharkiv to their families. Not all of them, because some musicians don't have homes anymore. But we're constantly in touch. What's the what are the sentiments like? What are the moods like? There's fighting spirit. I mean, the people who are there, they're actually reassuring us. They're saying, "Boys and girls, do your thing. You're doing important work. We're fine. It's going to be fine." That's the mood. Could you add something? I just wanted to add, just say a few words about where we were. So we went uh, to countries like Poland, Finland, Estonia, and Latvia. We've had the president of Estonia and the prime minister, and also ambassadors of Ukraine, US, and other countries, as well as representative charity foundations that were at work accumulating these funds and accumulating this aid. We're now awaiting shipment of humanitarian aid. We've managed to connect um, um, an organization, connect with an organization, a Chernivtsi-based organization dedicated to Ukrainian defense, and I hope that in a week or two we should have very good results. I have a last question for you, or whoever wants to take it. What can you say about the relationship between war and music? Here's what I would like to say. I would like to thank our collective. I would like to thank our group to say that we're doing good and important and necessary work, because music in times of war is crucial, is very important. It's its own little front line that will help us win the war and be free. And to conclude, I would like to give the floor to Pani Natalia Bunda, director of the Lviv City Council Department for Development. And I would like to just perhaps say that Lviv has become this sort of hub for many IDPs, for many creative groups, and it seems to me that this has really helped us look at Lviv again as a cultural capital. What can you tell us about the arrival of this group and about today's event? Well, I'd like to say that when there's a war, when there's a lot of pain and suffering, the muses do not keep silent, which is the only thing they can do, because when our women, young men and women, are fighting and protecting our lives, we have to work. We have to work. Um, we have to orient towards the West. We have to talk to the international community. We know who we are for ourselves, but we have to show it to the international community that we have this rich culture, that we have beautiful language and traditions, and it, we are now kind of rediscovering the Ukrainian soul for the world. So it's quite important and very symbolic, I think, that a Ukrainian city of Kharkiv, the Ukrainian city of brave people and of music, has gone on this tour of European cities and used the language of music that is understandable to all of us. The sound of music touches the heart of everyone and opens the soul of everyone. They speak of the pain and the suffering and the love and the transformations that are currently taking place in Ukraine. I wanted to thank the orchestra and for their heroic work, because I know that going abroad when your country is at war is very difficult. Speaking from a position of a warring party is difficult, but we have to do this. We have to do this, and it's a very important aspect of our war effort. Lviv, which has hosted many IDPs and institutions, we are really concerned, because we want to be and we want to ensure good conditions for people who come to us. And then, could we just say, could you just tell us about when the concert will be? The concert today will be in Stritsky Park, the Stritsky Park, at 5 o'clock. That's 1700. Open to the public. It's a new location in Stritsky Park, and I really hope that we'll be able to both enjoy the beauty of nature and music, and then also support each other, which is extremely important for us Ukrainians at the moment. Thank you very much, Natalia Bunda of the Lviv City Council, Nina Kramareva, the Secretariat of the National Commission of Ukraine for UNESCO, and members of the Prime Orchestra Collective, Yuriy Rybalka, Oleksiy, Khorolskiy, Denis Doroshenko. Thank you all for being with us. I stand with Ukraine.